Every person I know has an idea, something they think about and dream about. This dream consumes them, and they lie awake at night thinking about this special little idea. But the path forward to achieving their dream has a chasm, a hole with no bridge, and to continue, they must jump into the unknown abyss. Most, when they reach the edge, walk away, fearing what lies ahead in the darkness. A select few jump. I want to help you jump, to start your indie journey. Why? Because over the past 7 years, I have jumped into the chasm 4 times, creating 4 different types of companies, including an indie studio. I've also helped hundreds of others jump, having been an entrepreneurship professor and a consultant. I would never claim to be the best or even an above average game developer. If you want to learn how to make a great game, go check out one of the many incredible game dev channels out there. However, what I do know better than most is how to start a company, and more specifically, how to prepare to start one. I know what people fear when starting, I know their objections, and I know what they need to get confidence to overcome, which is why I started this channel and my other channel, Going Indie. I care about the future of video games, and I want indie devs to succeed. Partially for selfish reasons. I want great games to play with my buddies. And
oh no, I'm recording myself.
And that won't happen if talented individuals like you are too scared to start. I want to make my own game and have people know about them. But I also love the indie scene. I've worked with all types of people from different corners of the world, and there's something special about indie devs. You guys are genuine, you're passionate, and you actually care, and not just about what you're building, but about others in the community. It's why I got hooked by the game dev space. It's truly unique. I want to help any of you aspiring devs know exactly what to do before starting your journey. So here's my blueprint. Everything you need to do before building your first game. I've tailored the information specifically for game developers, but the format is applicable to any company you wish to start, and it comes from thousands and thousands of hours of experience. So let's dive in, starting with step 1, forget your fear. Now, starting an indie game might feel overwhelming, and that's perfectly normal. As I've said, I've started multiple companies, and every time I dive into something new, I still feel that mix of excitement and intimidation. This feeling isn't unique to you. It's part of the journey for all of us. But here's the thing, fear isn't bad. In fact, fear is good. It means you care. It means you're stepping out of your comfort zone and reaching for something that matters to you. Right? Think about it. Every indie developer has felt what you feel. They felt your same doubts, your same fears. They worried about failing, about the challenges ahead, about making enough money. But that fear was a sign that they were on the right path, right? That they were doing something worth risking. Fear is there to keep you sharp. Let it fuel your work. Let it remind you that this matters. You don't need a huge team or tons of resources to make something incredible. What you need is grit, a clear vision, and the willingness to learn and improve each and every day. Every moment you struggle, you need to think about the indie games that have left a mark on you. Remember those that made you want to take this step, because this journey will challenge you. It will make you angry. It will make you frustrated, but it will also drive you, excite you. And this satisfaction of making something from nothing is really the greatest feeling in the world. So take that first step and forget your fear. Once you do that, you can move on to step 2, which is evaluating yourself. One of the most important yet overlooked steps in starting a project is self-evaluation. Taking an honest look in the mirror, taking an honest look at yourself, and taking an honest look at your skills, your mindset, and what drives you forward. Before diving in, it's crucial to reflect on what you bring to the table and identify where you need support or improvement. Self-awareness is foundational to getting started. It's okay that you're not skilled in every area, whether it's coding, art, game design, or marketing. What matters is acknowledging these gaps and building a plan to improve. If you're wondering how to self-evaluate, how to know where you struggle and where you excel, ask yourself some of these questions. What core skills do you have in game development? Why do you want to create this game, and what is your end goal? How do you plan on staying organized? Do you have the money to take on this type of project? How many hours per week can you realistically dedicate to this project? Do you understand the current trends and the challenges in the indie game industry? Are you prepared to handle the setbacks, criticism, and failure along the way? Once you have answered those questions, you should now know where you have gaps and know where your own potential lies. If you're struggling in certain areas, totally fine. You're not supposed to be great at everything. and have everything. So do your best. That's it. But if some gaps feel too big to tackle alone, which many can feel this way, think about finding a partner who brings those skills to the table. And if teaming up isn't an option, you could look into ways to get some funding so you can bring in extra help where you need it. Evaluating yourself isn't meant to discourage you. It's all about gaining clarity. Becoming skilled in any field takes a ton of time, and it's perfectly okay if you're not strong in every area. For example, I suck at art, so I hire others to help. I'm an average coder, so I spend time watching tutorials and practicing. If you're feeling unprepared because you lack certain skills, remember that everyone starts somewhere. The key is to take that first step now. You can't learn without trying. So trust in yourself and recognize that what you create truly matters. But not only trust yourself, know yourself. Determine your play style and personality. The reason why this step is so important and why I'll reference it multiple times in this video is because the best and worst thing most aspiring game devs do is make their game exactly as they want, designing it with all the bells and the whistles they wish they had. The reason why it's terrible to do this is because they don't talk to other players and they make every feature of the game with themselves in mind, creating a monstrosity similar to the car Homer designed in The Simpsons. I'm ruined! What's interesting though, if you don't make a game that you personally like, the game will struggle. Why? Because if you don't like playing your own game, or if you can't find the fun, neither will others. So you need to understand your own personality and the types of games you like if you're going to make something great. But you need to balance your own likes and desires with what other players want. With that in mind, ask yourself, what do I like? Do you like platformers, RPGs, or puzzles? How about narrative, mechanics, or art? Do you prefer playing alone or with friends? Knowing what you personally love will help you design games that resonate with players like you. Sounds great, right? But how do you determine who you are as a player? Well, the best way is to look at your list of games. Most likely, you already know what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy. However, if you want to get analytical, if you want to group yourself in a particular way, you should look into play personalities. What are play personalities? Well, basically, they lump people into categories to identify the different types of play that they may be more naturally drawn to. This study wasn't for video games specifically, but understanding these personalities as an indie developer is crucial because your audience will engage with your game based on how well they align with their preferred play style. Here's a breakdown of a few play personalities and game examples, starting with number 1, the Joker. Jokers enjoy lighthearted, silly play. They love to make people laugh and often enjoy games with humor or ridiculous mechanics. You know, some great game examples would be Goat Simulator, Untitled Goose Game, or most social games. Number 2, the Kinesthete, or however you say it. These players enjoy movement and engaging physically. They might enjoy games that focus on speed, rhythm, or precise control of movement. Some examples could be Mirror's Edge, Celeste, or really most VR games. Number 3 is the Explorer. People who are explorers love to discover new things, whether it's a physical place, a hidden item, or a story twist. They enjoy open worlds, puzzles, and games that really reward, that exploration and curiosity. Some examples could be Legend of Zelda, Outer Wilds, or Subnautica. And then there's number 4, the competitor. People who are competitors are driven by the desire to win or achieve mastery. A few great examples are Rocket League, Fortnite, and Street Fighter. There's also the director, the collector, the storyteller, and the artist/creator. If you want to know more about all the play personalities, I have a free PDF below that will give you a lot more details on play personalities. Now, most players fall into more than one bucket of play style, so I would suggest isolating which play personalities define you best, and then pick 1 or 2 others that somewhat define you. This step is important for the future because every business needs subject matter experts. And the more you know yourself, the game you like, and the genres associated, the more you will know about your player base and what makes them tick. Now, once you determine your play personality, you need to get organized. Organization, or lack thereof, is the reason tens of thousands of games sit half-baked on people's hard drives. So many people struggle to keep everything in order, and they never make it to the finish line. The key to organization is to use tools like Trello, Notion, or a simple spreadsheet to track tasks and projects. You need to break down large tasks into smaller, more manageable steps and stick to them. Not sure how to get organized? Well, you can use my process. I like organizing by category, then object, followed by tasks. Here is a great example of my process. Category, which could be art. The objects, which would be character model 3, and the task would be to fix Character Model 3's arm by Tuesday next week. Pretty simple, straightforward, I know, but it's been helpful for me and many others. If you struggle to stay on top of your tasks, there are a few techniques that you should try, such as the Pomodoro technique, where you work in focused short bursts followed by short breaks. Or there's time blocking, where you schedule specific time blocks for different tasks or types of work throughout your day. There are many more and all sorts of strategies, but I personally prefer time blocking. I know I am the most productive in the morning and in the evening, which is why I save any meetings, family chats, and game time for the late afternoon. Figure out what works best for you and get organized as soon as possible. Once you do that, you can now determine your time capacity. And it's critical you determine the time you can dedicate to this project. Why? So that you have realistic expectations. You need to take a look at your schedule and be honest with yourself and with others. How much time can you commit each week to development? When is that time each day or week? And will you be productive during that time? Please don't be vague. Pick a specific number of hours and days of the week. If you're juggling a job, studies, or family, which most people are, you'll need to carefully plan your hours once you have determined your capacity. Lastly, prioritize. What is the most important thing you should focus on each day in life and when making this game? This step is critical before you take the next one, which is setting goals. Now, your goals should align with both your game and your personal development. Do you want to launch a game within a year? Do you want to learn a new programming language? Do you want to make a certain amount of money? Goals should influence the game you make, and they should be achievable with the resources and time you have. But setting goals is always easier said than done. We all like to make goals, but most people rarely follow through. So how do you make goals and stay consistent? Well, if you're following along, you've already done half the work. When making goals, you need to understand yourself and understand your time commitment. Most people make goals without any regard to how they're going to achieve them or the time it will take, which is why they last a week before losing focus and commitment. So if you have skipped the steps above, go back and do them. If you have finished those steps, you're ready to set some goals. When you make goals, you need to remember why you got into game development in the first place. So first, ask yourself, what do I hope to achieve? What is my mission? Is it to build a portfolio, to launch a successful game, learn new skills, have fun, make friends, make a game you'll love, make money? There is a plethora of reasons you got into game development, and your goals should reflect that reason, that mission. If you want to make friends and learn new skills, great. But then make sure your goals reflect that desire. Don't say you want to make friends and then have every goal centered around money. That's not to say you don't make a goal to make money, but if your core desire is to make friends, most of your goals should be things like attend 5 game jams, join 10 Discord communities, talk with one person in those communities each day. Goals that actually push you to accomplish your reason for starting. When you make these goals, make them SMART. And I didn't invent the SMART process, but it is tried and true. What makes a goal SMART is 5 things. Be specific, so clearly define what you want to accomplish. Make sure it's measurable, right? Include metrics that allow you to track progress. Goals need to be achievable so that you make sure every goal is based on your current skills and available time. You need to make them relevant so that your goals, directly align with your overall mission and desires. And they need to be time-bound, where basically you just assign deadlines to your goals. Once you have set goals and made sure that they are SMART, you're now ready to pick your game. Most people, when they start a project, when they start developing a game, they start with an idea in mind. Something usually similar to what they already know, but adding their own bells and whistles, which I discussed on step 3 using Homer's car as an example. People often get married to this idea and don't really explore other possibilities, forgetting that the best ideas don't come from inspiration, but perspiration. So if you truly want to make something great, you need to open your mind and think outside of the box. You need to create a list of ideas and really try to find a unique game concept. How do you find something that's unique? Well, you start by considering the games you love to play and think about what makes them great. Look for gaps in the market or ways you could innovate on existing games or genres. Why was Stardew Valley so successful? Well, it's because Concerned Ape took a pre-existing genre that hadn't gotten much love in a while and made something fresh. Why was Minecraft so successful? Because they innovated so much on the sandbox genre that it became a game unlike any other. Why was League of Legends so successful? because they took a game that was inaccessible and then they made it accessible. All these factors should be considered in what I like to call the ideation phase. And the goal of this phase is to find the best game idea. Start by brainstorming a variety of concepts and put them in a list. Then ask yourself, what genre do I understand the most? What game mechanics do I enjoy the most? What skills do I have? With these questions in mind, use a spreadsheet or a doc or whatever to formalize your ideas and analyze their feasibility. Write down every one you have and make the description simple. Just the basic concept is all you need. A good example of a basic concept could be something like Stardew Valley, but in space, and people raid your farm now and again. Right? Using examples like this will clearly define the idea in your mind and in others. If you can't explain the idea simply, then it isn't a good idea, or you need to refine it. Value that can't be explained simply can't be built simply. Now, I'm not saying this one sentence will explain all of what will make your game fun, but nailing the core value and intrigue is critical for the next step, getting player feedback. And the most important thing you can do as a business owner, product creator, or game developer is getting feedback. At every stage, you should be searching for it, from ideation to development to growth to scale. If you completed the previous steps correctly, you should currently have a few game ideas that you're excited about. These ideas should have a short one-sentence explanation, and you now need to take those ideas to people in your life, your community, and the broader internet. Whenever I tell people this, the most common response is, what if people steal my ideas? My response is, they won't. In all the years I have helped companies, not a single person or company during the validation stage has had their ideas stolen. Why? Well, number one, ideas aren't special. They're just ideas. Number two, most people will never do the work to make that idea a reality. Number three, people usually prefer their own ideas over others. Why make what John is making when I can make what I want to make? And number four, your idea in another person's mind looks different to them than it does to you. So even if they steal it, the end product will look very different. So go talk to everyone about your different game concepts. Get feedback, and not just positive. Learn everything you can and tweak those ideas as you learn. Validation is about learning and changing, not just validating what you like. If you aren't sure how to get feedback, here are some good questions that you could ask when validating your ideas with players. Start by asking a discovery question, something like, what types of games do you typically enjoy and why? This type of question will help you know what game ideas to pitch them. Once you know, explain your concepts and then ask a question like, does this game concept sound interesting to you? Why or why not? Once you ask that, you can then follow up with questions like, are there specific features you would expect or want in a game like this? Are there specific themes or art styles you'd want in this type of game? What platforms do you primarily play on? What would make this game interesting or unique and make it stand out amongst similar titles? What attracts you the most when buying games like this? Ask as much as you can, and I would suggest interviews over surveys. Interviews will always give you a better insight than a survey. Now, if done correctly, if you do these interviews correctly and you ask the right questions, they should help you isolate if this individual you are talking to is part of your target market for a specific idea. The information you get from them will give you insights into what games and features they like and don't like. And maybe their feedback will actually reveal some gaps in the market. People will tell you what they want if you ask. So, ask. And after you are done talking with as many people as possible, go back through your list of ideas and look at the feedback you've gotten on each of them. Then use what they've said to help you pick the one idea that just feels the best, that you're most excited about. If you follow this step correctly, you should now have a game idea picked, validated, and ready to go. Which brings us to step 9, the final step of this video. Nail your player base. If you haven't realized yet, picking the right game is about getting as much data as you can on what your target gamers want, mixing that with what you like, and adding some unique elements to make it stand out. In simple terms, find what you and others find fun, and then make it unique. Here's the formula. Other players' definition of fun plus your fun plus unique flavor equals potential success. Now, this formula is just a theory of mine, so I wouldn't take it as gospel. However, the theory stems from my experience as a software startup consultant, and the biggest concern of most startups is product market fit. For those that don't know what product market fit is, it's just a measurement term for how well a product meets the needs of its target audience. Game studios have the same concern as startups. They want to know if they have product market fit or game market fit. In my experience, the companies that did the best job finding product market fit had 3 things. 1, the founder was part of the industry and had pain points personally he was trying to solve. So he was part of his own target audience. Number 2, the founder talked with as many people in his industry as possible before building his product so that he knew what was wanted on a deep level. And number 3, through his research, the founder discovered a need that wasn't being met, and he determined there was a unique opportunity to provide something new to the market. Will this guarantee success? No, there is no such thing as guaranteed success. But if you nail every piece of the formula, from my experience, you'll find the best chance of nailing product market fit. Now, going back to the equation, what's easy to determine is your fun, right? Who knows you better than you? Maybe Google or Steam, but you're up there. Also, if you did step 3 and you reviewed the play personalities, you should have a more tangible understanding of your type of fun. That said, nailing other players' fun is more difficult. You should know how to get feedback from players if you followed step 8, but gathering feedback on ideas is different than nailing your player base. And there's a tried and true process. It's called a persona doc. For those that have never used the persona doc, it's a simple document that helps identify the types of players who will play your specific game. It's essentially a tool that all companies use to define their target audience more clearly. If filled out correctly, the document will help guide devs' decisions on game design, marketing, and overall player experience. For indie devs, the persona doc can be particularly important as it ensures your limited funds are used effectively. I've used multiple variations of persona docs for different companies, but here is the structure for indie studios. Basic demographics, gaming preferences, motivations, challenges and pain points, player personality, gaming habits, and for last one, put yourself in their shoes. I have an example of a persona doc and all its details on the free PDF below if you want more context. But when you go to fill out your own persona doc, remember you'll never have enough information to fill it out perfectly. But the more people you do talk to, the better the information will be. So go talk with as many players as you can and research more games. Oftentimes, games similar to yours will tell you a lot about your target player base. More data you can get from more sources, the better. That said, you'll never have all the data you need. And I don't want you to get analysis paralysis. Just find enough data that you can make a reasonable inference on the type of player you are targeting and why they'll find your game fun. Lots of stuff to digest, I know, and hopefully you have been able to follow along with all these steps. If you have, you should have done a self-evaluation and determined what type of player you are. You should have an organization structure to follow, an understanding of your time capacity, and know how to set goals. You should have a list of game ideas, one validated idea you are pursuing, and a persona doc that outlines your target player base. With all of this, you are ready to start your indie journey. Woo! There's just one last thing you need to do again, and that's overcome your fear. Funny enough, the first step of overcoming fear always comes full circle at this moment for people. You have taken every step you need to start your indie journey, and now you stand on the edge of the chasm. All these steps are just part of the prep phase, and the next step you take will be the most important because it's jumping into the unknown. I get that it is scary to start. It's always more fun to dream than actually do the work. But if you are serious, you need to take the leap. I get there's darkness ahead, but you'll find the path as you go along. We all do. I also get there are so many things you still need to do before you launch your game. Things like legal and finance and taxes, but you'll figure it out. And I'll do my best to give you the information you need along the way, like the free PDF blueprint below. So best of luck, go kill it, and go start your game. Peace.